You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning, it's October the 9th, and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Education on News.
I love it. I keep forgetting. Pottober. I keep forgetting that you do that, and it's just like, damn, that's every time I hear you do it, it's like, I gotta keep that, and then I'll forget by the end of the show, right?
Yes, Pottober. Some people call it Croptober and stuff like that, but Croptober could be in any crop. It could be, someone doing their hay. Who knows? So that's why I say Pottober. I don't normally say pot a lot, but it works with the month, right? So
It does.
yeah. Let's see. I got one thing I got to check off my list, and that is I have to say happy birthday to my wife Gail. Her birthday's not today, but it is tomorrow. So
Yay! Happy birthday, Gail! Yay.
Yes, she's hard at work.
Yes, and she's what? She's turning 39 years old.
29.
29. Oh my goodness, that's right.
Yeah. 29 again. Yeah. But yeah, it's and the good thing too is that this weekend's Thanksgiving. So the family will be getting together as many of us as we can. My son and his partner will be missing out due to a baby and other things are on the way. So
yeah,
not yet.
I still remember when they told you that they were having a new baby. I thought that was great. That was exciting. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They always have some way of doing it, right?
They're very creative. It's beautiful.
Okay, talking about babies, you've got something that you want to bring up on the screen there that you'd like to talk about before we get into the news.
I do. A few years ago, I had the lovely opportunity to meet Ms. Cheryl Rose and her beautiful daughter, Haley. And Cheryl's been trying to help Haley with her ailments Haley's whole life. And she's been using cannabis, and you know better than I do, the majority of Haley's life.
Yeah.
And let me close off my comments here from my daughter. And so Haley announced this the other day. Health Canada has responded to her talking about the microgreens that she's been using with Haley. We all don't need to see that. Yeah, with Haley, micro cannabis greens to be specific. And Cheryl let Health Canada know what she's been doing, and they responded. They want her to proceed under a research license and clinical trials.
Yes.
So for Haley and Cheryl, as Cheryl says, shit just got real, and this is really exciting.
Yeah, big time. Cheryl applied for a license for Haley's benefit, and she needed 10,000 seeds per crop, right? And each seed is a plant, and they don't give licenses normally for 10,000 plants. So she approached them, sent in the paperwork with full support of the doctors, the hospital, the researchers that she's been working with. They even signed the paperwork that went into Health Canada. And, cannabis, the keto diet that Cheryl's had Haley on, it's been remarkable, the results of Haley. I know people who've known Haley basically all her life, and they're just wow. So microgreens of cannabis. I'm sure that She will be a guest on an upcoming show to explain this even further. She's been on the show in the past. If you do a search on YouTube for Cheryl Rose and the Pace Radio Show, you'll see her on there, as well as on Tamara's show, talking about microgreens. And that's like cannabis plants that are like this tall, and the fact that they are making a difference, a world of difference in a young lady. So
yeah. And when Al says a world of difference, like I truly believe that he's under exaggerating it.
Yeah,
like it's a universe of difference. Like this girl is like, I mean, you'd never know that she has any ailments except for the fact that she wears headphones when she goes out to louder events.
At one time it used to be a trigger for her.
Yep. And now she goes out and she enjoys it and she's having fun. And it's just so beautiful to see what this medicine has done for this beautiful girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right.
It'll be a study that we share in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. They want this. They want this information. Health Canada wants it. And boy, it can make a difference. Big time. It's good. Cheryl's, she's been doing schooling. She's been involved in the university out west, getting involved in all this stuff. So big time. Congratulations to the two of them. So
yeah.
All right. Time for us to move on to some news about cannabis and psychedelics. So here we go. First story is up.
It's coming to us from StratCan. BCGEU expands strike to more BC cannabis stores.
Yep, the BCGEU say they have expanded their strike to now include all 40 BC cannabis store locations in the province. In an announcement sent to its members on October the 7th, the Government Employees Union said it was expanding its strike to include all remaining BC liquor and cannabis stores.
As of October 8th, the BCGEU's list of 445 work sites that are fully or partially on strike with picket lines includes 40 BC cannabis store addresses. However, the list includes several duplicate locations while missing 2 stores in Kamloops and one in Oliver. On October 3rd, the union first expanded the strike to include 32 of the BC cannabis store locations. However, the list at the time also contains several errors and duplicates, initially showing 35 total locations.
The strike began on Monday, September the 2nd. And at that point, and on September the 12th, the BCGEU extended the strike to include an overtime strike at the BC Liquor Distribution Branch Distribution Center in Richmond, which services the cannabis industry.
Yeah. Pardon me. Then on September 22nd, the entire LDB warehouse that handles cannabis distribution in the province was added to the union's expanding picket lines. In addition to several other government offices and agencies, the strike quickly expanded to several BC liquor store locations, but until October 3rd had not included any of the province's cannabis stores. In British Columbia, the province allows for private cannabis and alcohol retailers while also operating provincially run stores.
The widespread job action seeks to address wage demands from the union representing 34,000 BC public service employees. It is seeking a 2-year deal with a 4% raise in the first year and another 4.2% in the second year. The BC government is offering 3.5% over 2 years. The union initially began the strike by picketing a relatively small number of non-public facing government agencies and ministries. However, following a failed attempt at negotiations on September the 29th, the union stated it would seek to put more pressure on the government.
Similar strike in 2022, which shut down BC LDB, impacting deliveries to cannabis and alcohol stores in the province for several weeks, had been seen as an effective tool to bring the government back to the negotiation table. The provincial government and public sector unions find themselves at greater odds in this year's strike, with the government arguing it doesn't have the money the union is asking for, until leader Paul Finch says he believes this is now the longest civil service strike in BC history. And I just want to say, when I was out in BC, like, this isn't just affecting the BC stores. Like, they've closed down some of the stores. Yeah, like they're saying they've closed down. When I was there with some of them, But the distribution center was closed down, which is affecting all of the privatized stores in the entire province. So, they may be closing the BC cannabis stores, but the privatized stores are super suffering.
Yeah, they're still open. I think with the story, I'll get into a little bit of that, but if it doesn't, we will when we'll end it. I'll explain some stuff. Now, it goes on to say that retailers and producers in the province say they are doing their best to continue serving customers under the current circumstances. Several private retailers have told StratCan that they were able to stock up in anticipation of the strike impacting cannabis deliveries. Now, BC's direct delivery program, which allows some smaller BC producers who grow or process no more than 3,000 kilograms of cannabis per year to sell directly to retailers, bypassing the province's central delivery system, is also serving to keep retailers with at least some new stock. And that's exactly what I was going to say, is that they have that system there where some of the smaller growers can just deal directly with the store instead of going through the whole BC, the LDP thing there.
Yeah, but they're only looking at 3,000 kilograms per year of each.
Yeah, which isn't. Yeah.
That's going to sell out pretty damn quick.
And the variety is greatly reduced. Talking with Tamara, there's not much in the store.
Yeah, so it's frustrating for the small cannabis stores, the small retailers to try and keep their customers happy, but they are working their best and they are trying to keep a smile on their face. So God bless them.
Yeah. All righty. Next story is ready to go. Here we go. Coming
to us from Ganjapreneur. Study shows DMT helps brains heal from stroke damage.
Nice. Yeah, a recent study found that DMT, the natural occurring psychedelic commonly known as DMT, protects against stroke damage in animal and cell models, according to a neuroscience news report. For the study published in the Science Advances, researchers at the HUN Biological Research Center in Hungary tested the effects of DMT in rat stroke models and cell cultures.
DMT is a psychoactive compound that occurs naturally in a variety of plants and animals, including the human brain. And it is the primary ingredient in ayahuasca. So we're talking NN-DMT, not the 5-MeO I work with. A psychedelic used in religious ceremonies by some indigenous cultures in South America. It is also being studied in clinical trials as a potential treatment for stroke damage, according to the report. The study authors said their findings prove that DMT mitigates a post-stroke effect by stabilizing the blood-brain barrier and reducing neuroinflammation.
Strokes are caused when a blood clot blocks or reduces blood flow to the brain. Current treatment options involve physical breaking up and removing the clots using medication or surgery. Now, according to Janet Ving, she's the study of the first co-author here. She says that the therapeutic options currently available for stroke are very limited. The dual action of DMT protecting the blood-brain barrier while reducing brain inflammation offers a novel, complex approach that could complement existing treatments.
Yeah, a non-peer-reviewed study in 2023 found that DMT treatments coupled with therapy could improve symptoms of depression as well.
Wow, geez, there we go. That's it.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, yeah, it is. To see this stuff come out, like, who would have thought? And, maybe it was studied or at one point mentioned back in the 70s or something, and then it just sort of went quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were getting loud about it in a way that scared everybody else. And the government shut that down pretty fast instead of getting curious. These days, the same things are being said, but the government is way more curious because people have finally realized that the majority of these medicines that we talk about and that we use have been around for millennia. And they're starting to realize that these tribes that don't have heart issues and don't have mental health issues, et cetera, that use these medicines might actually be onto something.
They may be, eh? Just maybe. All righty. Time for us to move on to the next story. Here we go.
Coming to us from International Cannabis Business Conference. Argentina province approves medical cannabis and industrial hemp. Go Argentina.
Yeah, more countries are legalizing medical, and then eventually legalization, hopefully. The South American nation of Argentina comprises 23 provinces, with the province of Chaco being one of them. Now, it's located in the northeastern part of the country. Much of the region is currently undeveloped. The province's economy is largely based on agricultural, with them producing most of the nation's cotton. Now, members of the legislature there recently gave unanimous approval to moving forward with bringing the province in line with the Argentina's national law that regulates medical cannabis and hemp in the South American country.
Unanimous approval.
Yes.
The legislature, unanimously approved the province's adherence to National Law 27.669. This is the law that regulates the medical cannabis and industrial hemp industry in Argentina. The vote took place during the 13th regular season and represents a new chapter for the province. And this was reported by El Plantino in local coverage. The ascension will be accompanied by local legislator Province Law 1442, which will be discussed on October 29th. The text will seek to organize the entire value chain in a substantial and inclusive manner, the outlet also reported.
Now, in addition to cotton, farmers also cultivate soy, sorghum. I'm not even sure. I didn't even heard that word. Maize, sugarcane, rice, and tobacco, allowing farmers there to cultivate hemp and non-hemp medical cannabis will help them diversify their farming business models. Successful hemp and medical cannabis sectors will also help further boost Argentina's national emerging industries.
Yeah. Argentina's cannabis industry has experienced a lot of ups and downs in recent years. In April of 2022, Argentina's Minister of Health issued new rules on medical cannabis, allowing nonprofits to eventually obtain licenses. Roughly a month later, Argentina passed a measure that created a framework for a more robust medical cannabis industry in the South American nation, including provisions for boosting exports around the world.
On the judicial front, Argentina's Supreme Court rendered a decision in July of 2022 that provides some legal protection for home cultivation by medical cannabis patients. Later in 2022, Argentina issued the nation's first domestic medical cannabis production license. That same month, Argentina's government launched a public company to provide seeds, testing, and training to the emerging cannabis industry. Now, earlier this year, Argentina's government decided to start from scratch and revoke the nation's approved medical cannabis cultivation permits. Bummer. Forcing permit holders to reapply. Hopefully, as time goes by, Argentina's industry will be afforded a better level of certainty, including in the province of Chaco. Wow. So they had it, and then they didn't have it.
Weird. Yeah.
You know, you give the people their medicine, and then you take it away from them.
Get them healing and then just stop it.
It sounds like it's coming back though, so that's good. All righty. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got one more story to go.
We do.
All right. Not only are things changing in Argentina, but they're also changing, as we're finding out, in another country. There we go. Story's up.
Coming to us from Hemp Gazette, Spain okays medical cannabis, but with tight controls.
Spain's Council of Ministers has approved regulations concerning the use of medical cannabis in the country. The regulations are highly restrictive, but a start. Requested by the Health and Consumer Affairs Committee of the Congress of Deputies, the regulations integrate medical cannabis into Spain's healthcare system.
While the Associated Royal Decree doesn't list qualifying conditions, medicines must be prescribed by specialist physicians in a hospital setting, prepared only in authorized hospital pharmacy services, and follow related standards. However, authorized clinic uses, along with specific conditions for preparation, dosage, and prescription, will be established within 3 months. With this regulation, the government reaffirms its commitment to more personalized, safe, and evidence-based medicine, offering an alternative for those who find no effective response in approved modern medications.
Yeah, under the regulations, cannabis flower is not allowed. Oh, only standardized oils.
Interesting.
The decree also creates a public registry in which all standardized cannabis preparations that are utilized to create master formulas must be registered. They say here in the translation, these products must have a defined composition of THC and or CBD, complying with strict manufacturing traceability and quality requirements, and are subject to an additional inspection when they contain more than 0.2% THC.
While some patient advocates and industry players feel the regulations are too restrictive, the news is viewed by others as the thin edge of the wedge, representing an important starting point to demonstrate medical cannabis can be part of the country's healthcare system without the major issues feared by opponents. In 2023, Spain had a developing but yet to be fully implemented medical cannabis program providing access to standardized cannabis preparation for patients with certain conditions.
Prior to this, Spain had no specific medical cannabis laws or regulations, but recreational use and public possession remained illegal. Patients were able to source cannabis products through a regulatory loophole involving participation in cannabis social clubs. However, CBD was legal in Spain and freely available as long as preparations contained no more than 0.2% THC. Now, in October 2024, the nation's Ministry of Health published a draft of the royal decree approved this week, with an expectation it would be approved by the summer of 2025. So a little late, but better late than never, is what they say. So there you go. Spain, Argentina, medical cannabis, go, go, go.
Yes, it's a good starting point, and I'm excited.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, there's lots of things that can be improved.
Oh, there always
all
is.
Around the world and all the cannabis countries. So, all righty. Time for us to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into our next 4 stories, including one story. It's in a press release that is trying to make it cannabis medicines affordable for patients around the world. So we'll get into that when we get back. You're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back. We're live. 420pace.ca, paceradio.net. Alrighty, before the break, I mentioned something about patients getting access to affordable medicine. And this is a press release that I spotted in the news. So here we go.
Here we go. Coming to us from Cannabis Business Times. Cancer patients to benefit from affordable cannabis medicine program launching in Colorado.
That's right. ERIC Cancer Playbook, and ERIC stands for Early Recognition is Critical, powered by Whole Health Oncology Institute, is launching a groundbreaking initiative to expand affordable access to fully extract cannabis oil, FICO, for cancer patients worldwide, available exclusively in Colorado. Now, in collaboration with Native Roots Cannabis Co. and Yeti Farms, the FICO program combines compassionate access to high-quality cannabis medicine with real-world data collection that will shape future cancer care and research.
For the first time, adult cancer patients aged 21 years and older from anywhere in the world will be able to access high-quality FICO through Colorado's recreational cannabis market without requiring a medical cannabis card. Cancer patients who are registered with ERIC Cancer Playbook FICO program will receive high-quality FICO at a discounted price, while ERIC Cancer Playbook collects patient-reported outcomes that are proving more effective at capturing cannabis efficacy than traditional Food and Drug Administration clinical trials. Earlier this year, ERIC Cancer Playbook published the largest meta-analysis ever conducted on medical cannabis and cancer symptoms, spanning more than 10,000 studies. Building on this landmark achievement, the organization has rapidly expanded its research collaborations, digital infrastructure, and patient network to transform how real-world data informs cancer care.
ERIC Cancer Playbook FICO program is a meaningful step forward in supporting cancer patients worldwide, says Jim Grinsler. I'm sorry, Jim, I messed up your name. He's the lead visionary and co-founder of ERIC Cancer Playbook. Goes on to say, by combining access to high-quality FICO with data that increases patient anonymity, we're helping people make informed choices rather than about their care. This program also provides hope, encouragement, and a pathway for future patients to benefit from what we're learning today. Yeah. The program.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
The program launches October 23rd with a goal of serving 100 cancer patients in its first year, addressing critical access and affordability barriers that have long prevented patients from exploring cannabis medicine. Patients enrolled in the program can visit the Native Roots Santa Fe store in central Denver, and plans exist to expand to additional locations based on patient demand. Promoting health and wellness has always been a core mission of Native Roots, says Liz Zawoski, who is the Director of Public Affairs. We are honored to serve as the Colorado dispensary partner for the FICO program and expand access for patients who are incorporating cannabis into their cancer treatment plans.
Yeah, Pueblo-based Yeti Farms manages cultivation, processing, and compliance, while providing its services pro bono. Now, according to Sean Honaker, he's the founder and owner of the place. He says Yeti Farms is proud to be a cornerstone partner of ERIC Cancer Playbook FICO program in Colorado. We are committed to ensuring patients receive safe, high-quality FICO without financial barriers through this groundbreaking program.
Amazing. Through a simple survey at ericcancerplaybook.org, patients can register for the Colorado FICO program, connect with supportive clinicians, and receive a personalized playbook of insights based on shared experiences. The program follows a pay-what-you-can model, removing financial barriers to FICO, which typically costs $30 to $60 per gram for like high-end FICO, with product available for pickup exclusively at Native Roots.
Pay what you can model. Nice. The program's research component developed in collaboration with leading institutions, including the Society of Cannabis Clinicians, Institute of Cannabis Research, Veterinary Cannabis Society, and others, will continue to ongoing peer-reviewed research exploring how medical cannabis supports cancer patients. Now, Jamie Bennett, co-founder of Eric Cancer Playbook, says that after more than 6 years of working to help cancer patients in Oklahoma gain access to FICO, I'm proud to see that the dream of Eric Cancer Playbook FICO program launching into new markets and expanding our reach worldwide. This initiative not only helps patients gain access to high-quality FICO, but also supports the entire journey, offering guidance, encouragement, and hope along the way.
So beautiful.
Yes, it is. That is great news for sure. And just so everybody knows, Jim, who I messed up his last name there, the man behind this project, he is going to be a guest on an upcoming Pace Radio show, and it could be as early as next Wednesday. I have communicated with him, and he has agreed to be on the show. I just got to set a date with him. So
beautiful.
Looking for answers on some questions that we have, and want to be able to make sure that everybody is aware of this program. It mentions at the beginning, small number, 100 people that he hopes to help in the beginning, and then expand from there. And he's talking worldwide. So see what happens. I'm not sure how he would get it into places where it's illegal. But
right now he's offering it. You can come pick it up at that one place in Colorado. Right. So I think the plan is to have places worldwide and have producers worldwide that are producing it and then bringing it to whatever dispensary is going to be helping them. And I think it's a beautiful program, and I'm really excited. Yeah,
you could come here to Canada, set something up with a producer here, and go from there. Yeah, exactly. And just so you know, we got a message. Good morning there, Waylon. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in and catching some news. And from that story, we're going to move on to our next one as I get it lined up here. I'm too busy talking.
Us? Too busy talking?
Yeah, busy talking. Here we go.
Yes, coming to us from Reason Foundation, Psychedelics Policy Newsletter. DEA considers rescheduling psilocybin. FDA releases rejection decision, and more.
Yeah, we just covered part of this article. You'll see there's some stuff we won't get into. Now it says that the researchers' newsletter policy, there's some things that it covers here. Now it says the DEA petition requests psilocybin rescheduling. It says the DEA has requested that the Department of Health and Human Services review the scheduling of psilocybin under the Controlled Substances Act. This means that the federal government could choose to change psilocybin from a Schedule 1 to a lower schedule. Who knows, 3, 4, 5? Now, Schedules 3 through 5 are for approved pharmaceuticals subject to varying levels of controlled access. Companies or individuals that traffic in these substances can access basic financial services and are not subject to special penalties on their federal income taxes, even if state laws allowing the sale of these substances is different from federal law. A key takeaway of the potential change is that psilocybin service centers in state-regulated markets, such as Oregon, would be able to deduct business expenses on their federal income taxes under the ordinary and necessary standard that applies to most businesses.
Wow. This request from the DEA follows a protracted legal battle by proponents, including Sunil Agarwal, who is a Washington state-based doctor who sought to treat a patient with psilocybin under Right to Try, a federal law that permits the use of drugs or medicines not provided by the FDA under certain conditions. There's no word yet from HHS regarding when or how it will respond to the DEA's request. Legally, the U.S. Attorney General has the authority to change the status of a drug or medicine, provided that DEA and HHS have jointly considered a number of factors outlined in the statute.
Now, Reasons Foundation, Jeff Lawrence, traveled to Mississippi to testify during a recent hearing related to ibogaine. Lawrence discussed the medical benefits of ibogaine as a potential treatment for opioid addiction. He also discussed recent states that have approved millions of dollars in funding for clinical trials involving ibogaine, such as those in Texas and Arizona. Now, these public grants could contribute enough funding to take ibogaine through the initial phase of the Food and Drug Administration's drug approval process.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
The FDA has released details of its decision to reject a new drug application for MDMA. Last August, the FDA made headlines for rejecting the application of Lykos, a pharmaceutical company that had long been the front runner for medicalizing psychedelics when a patented version of MDMA for the treatment of post-traumatic stress injuries. The MAPS, Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Sciences, Rick Doblin heading that, published a critique of the decision, arguing that the FDA moved the goalposts on the clinical trial design. According to MAPS, the FDA was fully aware of many of the limitations when it greenlit the organization's clinical trial design. For instance, the FDA was ultimately concerned with too many participants broke blinding because they were able to guess whether they received the medicine or placebo. Genuine blinding is a gold standard of clinical trials, but a challenge with mental health related medicines that have acute effects like the potent psychedelics.
Now, the FDA is now requiring more research. MAPS leadership had created a for-profit company, Lykos, to conduct the trials, and currently it is unknown if and how they will address these conditions in further research. So below that is just a review on a book. So we'll just end that story there. But yeah, the stuff that is coming out on the psychedelics and just every week, it's just like wow.
Yeah, it's all new. The government is finally paying attention to the millennia of information that's there, and they want to solidify that with their own research in modern ways and whatever. But they're and whether they're doing it to disprove or to prove, I really don't care. They're finding out that the millennia information is just right.
It is. It has been. It's been proven right for a while now. All right. Talking about some new information. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Coming to us from cannabis.net, the 20% solution, how cannabis beverages are quietly solving alcohol's deadly problems.
Yes, exactly. Now, the writer says you have to admit it. I'm not a fan of THC beverages. The one thing I tried them, the experience wasn't great. The onset felt weird. The duration was unpredictable. And frankly, I'd rather just smoke a joint. But here's the thing. My personal preference doesn't matter when we're talking about data that could represent one of the most significant public health developments in decades. A new survey shows that people who drink THC-infused cannabis beverages are significantly reducing or eliminating their alcohol consumption. According to the data, regular cannabis beverage consumers report drinking 44% less alcohol than before they started using these products. Even more striking, 20% of cannabis beverage users have stopped drinking alcohol entirely.
That's beautiful. Let that sink in for a moment. We are watching a voluntary mass substitution away from one of society's most destructive legal drugs toward a significantly safer alternative. Yes. And it's happening organically, driven by consumer choice rather than government intervention or public health campaigns. Imagine what we've been saying all along. Let us use cannabis. The rest will heal itself. To understand why this matters, we need to talk about alcohol's actual impact on society, something we tend to gloss over because alcohol is so culturally embedded that we've normalized its carnage.
Oh, yes. Now, Professor David Nutt, one of the UK's leading drug researchers, created a comprehensive harm scale ranking drugs based on harm to users and harm to others. His research, published in The Lancet, found that alcohol is the most harmful drug overall when you account for both individual and societal damage. More harmful than heroin, crack cocaine, meth, when you factor in violence, accidents, health costs, and social disruption. I remember when he published that. It was quite controversial at the time. Now, it goes on to say, let's examine alcohol's actual body count and societal toll.
Okay, let's do that. Violence and crime. Alcohol is present in approximately 40% of violent crimes, including homicides, assaults, and sexual assaults. The CDC estimates that excessive alcohol use contributes to 140,000 deaths annually just in the United States. Think about that. Alcohol kills more Americans every year than drug overdoses, and we barely talk about it. Yeah. Domestic violence is strongly associated with alcohol consumption. When studies showing that alcohol is involved in 25 to 50% of domestic violence incidents, probably even more. The relationship is bidirectional and complicated, but alcohol's disinhibiting effects and its role in escalating conflicts are well documented.
Now, as far as traffic deaths, despite decades of awareness, campaigns, and stricter DUI laws, alcohol remains involved in about 31% of all traffic facilities in the U.S. That's roughly 13,000 deaths per year, every year, from drunk driving alone. And those numbers have remained stubbornly persistent despite massive enforcement efforts and cultural shifts. Now, as far as health impacts, it says chronic alcohol use causes liver disease, cardiovascular problems, several types of cancer, pancreatitis, and neurological damage. The WHO estimates that alcohol contributes to 3 million deaths worldwide annually through these health impacts. It's literally a toxic substance that we've collectively decided to normalize because humans have been drinking it for thousands of years.
Economic costs. The CDC estimates that excessive alcohol use costs the U.S. economy $249 billion annually when you factor in healthcare costs, lost productivity, criminal justice expenses, and other impacts. That's $249 billion every single year funneled into managing alcohol's consequences. Addiction and dependency. Approximately 14.5 Americans have alcohol use disorder, a rate far higher than cannabis use disorder, which we won't get into like the differences. Despite cannabis having more users, alcohol withdrawal can be fatal, unlike cannabis withdrawal, which is uncomfortable but never life-threatening.
Now imagine reducing all these harms by 20%, not through prohibition, not through taxation, not through awareness campaigns, just through people voluntarily choosing a less harmful alternative that they actually enjoy. Now, if THC beverages help 20% of drinkers stop consuming alcohol entirely, another significant percentage reduced consumption by 44%. The public health implications are staggering.
Lives saved. A 20% reduction in alcohol-related deaths would mean approximately 28,000 fewer deaths annually in just the United States. That's 28,000 families not destroyed, 28,000 funerals not had, 28,000 lives not cut short by a legal drug that we sell in grocery stores. Violence reduction. If 20% of violent crimes involved alcohol and 20% of drinkers stopped drinking, we're looking at a potential reduction of thousands of homicides, tens of thousands of assaults, and countless domestic violence incidents. Even a modest 10% reduction in alcohol-related violence would represent a massive public safety improvement.
Traffic safety. A 20% reduction in drunk driving deaths would save approximately 2,600 lives per year on U.S. roads. That's roughly 7 people every single day who wouldn't die in an alcohol-related crashes. Over a decade, that's 26,000 lives, the population of a small city. As far as the economic impact, reducing alcohol's economic toll by 20% would free up approximately $50 billion annually. That's money that could be redirected to healthcare, education, infrastructure, or simply remain in families' pockets rather than being consumed by alcohol's collateral damage.
Healthcare system relief, fewer alcohol-related emergency room visits, fewer liver transplants, fewer cancer treatments for alcohol-related cancers, fewer cardiovascular interventions. The healthcare system savings alone would be enormous. And this doesn't even account for the reduction in chronic disease burden and improved quality of life for millions of people. Criminal justice savings, fewer DUIs mean less strains on our courts. Fewer people in jail for alcohol-related offenses, fewer prohibition caseloads. The criminal justice system could redirect resources towards actual public safety threats rather than managing the endless stream of alcohol-related incidences.
The numbers are so large they almost become abstract, but behind every statistic is a real person who didn't die, a family that wasn't torn apart, a child who didn't grow up with an alcoholic parent, a victim who wasn't assaulted, a driver who didn't kill someone on their way home. What makes this substitution effect so powerful is that it's voluntary and market driven. People aren't being forced to switch from alcohol to THC beverages through taxation, regulation, or moral crusading. They're choosing it because they prefer the experience.
This is crucial because decades of public health campaigns, sin taxes, and awareness programs that have limited success in reducing alcohol consumption. People know alcohol is dangerous. Everyone knows drunk driving kills. Everyone knows alcohol can destroy your liver. Everyone has seen the consequences, but they drink anyway because alcohol provides something they value: relaxation, social lubrication, stress relief. THC beverages offer similar effects: relaxation, social enjoyment, stress reduction, without alcohol's unique toxicity. They don't cause hangovers. They're not physically toxic to organs. They don't make people aggressive or violent. They're far less likely to impair judgment in ways that lead to dangerous decisions.
The survey data showing 44% reduced alcohol consumption among cannabis beverage users suggests these aren't just complete substitutions. People are also moderating their overall toxic use. Instead of drinking 5 beers, maybe they have 2 beers and 1 THC beverage. That reduction alone represents significant harm reduction, even if they're not quitting alcohol entirely. Compare this to traditional addiction treatment approaches, which have notoriously low success rates for alcohol use disorder. AA has successful rates of maybe 5 to 10%, depending on how you measure. Pharmaceutical interventions like naloxone help some people, but have limited uptake and effectiveness. Meanwhile, THC beverages are achieving 20% complete cessation rates just by offering a preferable alternative.
Wow. Here's where I need to acknowledge my initial bias. When I tried the THC beverage, I didn't love it. The onset took longer than I expected. The peak felt different from smoking or edibles, and overall experience wasn't as controllable as other consumption methods I prefer. But so what? My personal preference is irrelevant to the public health question. If millions of people are finding that THC beverages work better for them than alcohol, and they're voluntarily switching to a demonstrably safer substance, then my taste preference doesn't factor into the equation at all.
This is actually a perfect example of how personal experience can cloud judgment about broader policy questions. I don't like THC beverages, according to this author. Therefore, I'm tempted to dismiss them as a gimmick. But the data showing alcohol reduction among users is compelling, regardless of my individual response to the product. It's also worth noting that THC beverages represent a specific use case that serves a particular demographic. They aren't products for daily cannabis users who already have preferred consumption methods. They're for people who currently drink alcohol socially, who want to participate in social drinking culture without alcohol's downsides, who are looking for measured, predictable doses in a familiar format.
The craft cannabis beverage industry is developing products with different onset times, different cannabinoid profiles, different flavors and experiences. Some use nano emulsion technology for faster onset. Others combine THC with CBD or other cannabinoids for different effect profiles. The market is innovating to serve different preferences and use cases. Will I personally start drinking THC beverages regularly? Probably not. I have consumption methods I prefer, but I will support their availability and celebrate their role in reducing, alcohol harm. Absolutely. Because this isn't about my preferences. It's about public health outcomes.
Yeah, exactly. I see it still goes on quite a bit, and we're running low on time, but I think we got the gist of the story that people are switching from alcohol to cannabis beverages. They talk about the social setting in there, and that's exactly what I was looking for when cannabis was legalized, was social, being able to sit around and people were drinking beer and I'm sitting there with a bottle of water in my hand, right? And I thought, well, it'd be nice to have a beverage instead of just water.
Yep.
But unfortunately, a lot of these cannabis beverages are carbonated and I can't drink them. And I don't like iced tea, and lemonade is a heartburner big time. So yeah. But always on the hunt. There's always something new that's coming out, and who knows, maybe I'll find something. So
hopefully.
All right, on to the last story of the day. Here we go.
Coming to us from Leafy. Cannabis can improve quality of life for the elderly and support healthy aging, study finds.
Yes. Cannabis can improve quality of life and support healthy aging in elderly populations when used in the right conditions, according to a major systematic review of existing research. The analysis, published in the Journal of Cannabis Research by researchers from the UK, reviewed 18 previous studies to establish whether cannabis can help combat health concerns that accompany an aging global population. Scientists predict that there will be 2 billion people aged over 60 by 2050, and life expectancy will rise from 72 years to 77 years.
Due to the global aging population, researchers expect to see an increase in the prevalence of age-related conditions, including Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disorders, and cancer. Cannabis has been shown by countless studies to have therapeutic benefits. However, the review authors identified significant gaps in the evidence base relating to healthy aging, promoting well-being and longevity. The research revealed a crucial distinction. Whilst lifetime cannabis use, particularly when started early in life, may negatively impact cognitive function and brain health in older adults, cannabis use initiated later in life showed potential therapeutic benefits.
The study examined how a dysregulated endocannabinoid system interacts with cannabis compounds. Now, according to the research, they said, since maintaining homeostasis is crucial for a long and healthy life, research is ongoing to understand how these cannabinoids interact with the ECS receptors in the brain, potentially impacting homeostasis across different systems. Studies exploring THC's effects on endocannabinoid homeostasis, such as in the placenta and cancer cells, and its involvement in cell death, highlight its potential for maintaining cellular balance. Similarly, CBD's ability to modulate the ECS, particularly its interaction with enzymes and receptors like FAAH and PPARs involved in fat and sugar metabolism, suggests promise for promoting healthy aging.
Researchers analyzed studies published between 2008 and 2023 that related to cannabis and aging. From an initial search of the 2,348 studies, researchers selected 18 studies that met their criteria. The evidence base comprised 11 preclinical and 7 human studies, as well as real-world evidence.
Yeah, the study says that real-world evidence on cannabis-based medicinal products was explored to understand their potential in addressing aging-related challenges. However, the literature review is limited to reports published in the English language. Now, preclinical evidence came from the studies of mice, fruit flies, zebrafish, and an organism called, I'm not even going to try that one, Results showed that cannabis increased memory in mice, extended C. elegans lifespan by 12 to 18%, improved zebrafish survival, enhanced cognitive performance in female mice, and demonstrated neuroprotective properties in fruit flies.
Interesting. Evidence from the 7 human-based studies shows that cannabis, specifically the cannabinoids THC and CBD, can improve memory, enhance cognitive function, and have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. However, several studies showed cannabis to have a detrimental effect on the elderly, especially when cannabis had been used chronically and over a long period of time.
One study examined adults aged 60 and over who had used cannabis weekly for at least the past year, with an average of 23.55 years of use, comparing them to non-users. And it says that the researchers found that long-term users showed poorer executive function, essentially for planning and decision-making, and reduced gray matter, suggesting negative effects on brain health with prolonged use.
Similarly, a separate 25-year study found that past cannabis use was linked to poorer verbal memory in middle-aged adults, although other cognitive functions remain unaffected. Researchers found from real-world evidence that elderly patients experienced increased wellness, a higher quality of life, and a reduction in the use of opiates after being prescribed cannabis medicines.
Crucially, according to the authors, preliminary findings suggest significant health and well-being improvements for older adults prescribed the CBMPs, emphasizing that the potential of medical cannabis in addressing the unique challenges of the aging. Concluding, the researchers acknowledge that lifetime cannabis use might have a detrimental effect on aging, whereas cannabis use initiated later in life can promote wellness. They emphasize the need for more research.
Always more research.
Yeah.
While the initial excitement surrounding cannabis and its potential for anti-aging is warranted, significant research gaps remain always, particularly in differentiating the impacts of lifetime cannabis use from those initiated during aging. Current evidence from human studies highlights that long-term cannabis use, particularly when initiated early in life, may have adverse effects on cognitive function and brain health in older adults. In contrast, limited research suggests that cannabis use initiated in aging might have different outcomes, including potential therapeutic benefits. Through this, though this remains to be conclusively determined, promising findings from let's try this again, Cindy. Promising findings from experimental models underscore the importance of further exploration. These models reveal that biphasic effects of THC, where low doses may promote survival and reduce inflammation, while higher doses could lead to negative outcomes. Such insights can inform the development of more precise and effective cannabis-based therapies for age-related conditions.
There you go.
There we go.
Good news and some bad news.
Yeah,
Just so you know, I've been one of those long-term users. So,
me too.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, I've got something.
What do you have?
Monday is a holiday.
It is.
Thanksgiving here in Canada. That means that we won't have a show on Monday. And our next show will be Thursday, so a week from today. Yep. Right? So enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend, Cindy, and everybody else in Canada as well. And other than that, that's our news for today. We hope you found it educational and informative. Thanks to the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, At-Eze.ca, and Limestone City Hydroponics.ca. And to you, our viewers, for tuning in the program. As I said, catch our next program next Thursday morning, 10 a.m., as Monday is a holiday. And as always, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.